Welcome to Chasing the Upside, conversations about living the FPL life. The best piece of FPL advice you've ever been given.
Okay, so for me, it's definitely, and it's cliche, very, very cliche, this one, but that phrase, it's a marathon and not a sprint, always hit home to me. You to stay patient throughout the season. When I first started playing, it was very easy to, oh, this player didn't do very well, time to take him out. Oh, this player hauled, I need him in my team. Just constantly making decision after decision after decision, chasing points and taking out the players who didn't give you points. But I've actually found that if you just stay patient, if you just focus on the fixtures, you'll eventually do well. And you'll overtake the people that make rash decisions eventually. No matter how bad your rank is right now, you will climb up the ranks if you just continue to make calm, good decisions.
The best FPL advice that I've been given is not to consume too much content. And this is where it's helped me immensely, last season especially. This season I've sort of got a select kind of few that I sort of I'll always go and watch, as a regular sort of on a regular basis. But in my first season I consumed so much content, like so many YouTubers that I was just watching day in day out, just because I was trying to learn the game, right? Last season I dropped that down completely, so I went from one extreme to the other and started focusing in on a few select content creators where possible, and because it gave me something different as well. So if I want something that's really stats heavy, data driven stuff, then I have a couple of content creators I would go for towards for those things. If I wanted a little bit more of that eye testy and just kind of gut feels and X vibes basically, then I've got a couple of content creators I like going to for that, and there's a few that sort of do a little bit in between. It's really refreshing to do that and sort of trust a few that you can go to and sort of tap into it occasionally. I found that really helped me.
I think it will have to be that as long as you're happy with the decision you made, then that's it. And a lot of the time, it's about making sure that you've made the decision. There's loads of different influences out there and influencers out there now, but at the end of the day, they don't care about you really. It's you've got to deal with the decision that you've made, and you've got to carry it, you've got to wear it. So just make sure you're happy with the decisions you make, and make sure they're your decisions at the end of the day, not because everyone else is doing it. Because you feel a lot better that way. If you crash and burn, you just crash and burn on your own terms. For me, it's just kind of ensuring that I'm confident within myself that the decisions I've made are the right ones. And it takes time to figure out what works for you. Some people do like writing stuff down like you do. For me, it's just having it in my head that if I think, oh, why did I do that? I don't have that sort of, oh, yeah, but this guy scored loads of points and the guy I chose didn't score any points. So I'm therefore an idiot and I'm therefore really annoyed. Like, just keeping everything manageable is really important. So yeah, that was a really kind of mealy-mouthed answer, I'm afraid.
Right.
But yeah, just make sure you own your decisions are your own, I suppose, probably where I'd go.
It's zoom out. And we said that you can get so sucked into Twitter and Instagram or whatever you're consuming content on, and that red arrow can feel like it dictates your week. But if you zoom out and realize that the decision you make next week, although it was a bad decision this week or was a bad outcome, could be fantastic. I talked about it on last week's podcast that I picked Bowen one week and he didn't return, and the player I wanted to get did return. And all week I was effing and blind, and that feckin' fella suggested Bowen to me and blah blah blah. And Bowen then went on this hot streak, winning or scoring 4 or 5 games in a row. And I was like, hold on, that whole week that I was in the car giving out, that meant nothing. And I just wasted energy and time giving out. So if you zoom out, and I think this is kind of good for anyone, even in life, zoom out and look at something or a decision over a long period of time. And that applies to FPL and to life. And I think if you actually zoom out and assess something at a later date and say, right, I'll park this and I'll assess it again, it will make your life a lot easier.
I think the best bit of advice, and again, it's not necessarily something I do because I'm an idiot. But it's deal with your weakest players first. You don't always have to be chasing high scores from players. Deal with your issues. And I look at, when I started doing black box, the idea of black box was to learn from mistakes I made and stop doing them. Have I stopped doing them? Absolutely not. But if you ask me, my number one mistake I make is always chasing the big points hauls and not just dealing with fundamental problems, injuries, players with rubbish fixtures, players completely out of form, and chasing kind of the upside too much. So late riser is famous for saying, it's all about the upside, but I like that strategy. Don't get me wrong; it's fun when it works. But really, I think deal with your issues. That's my number one bit of advice.